What makes a Zelda moment great? I think it really boils down to three elements that make up the core essence of Zelda, which are the emotional attachment to characters, the grand sense of an epic adventure, and, the most important element, the thrill of exploration. This is the methodology I'm going to be using when determining the greatest Zelda moments ever. I've played through every single mainline Zelda game since I was a kid, and these moments in particular capture what Zelda's all about. I'm not going to include anything from the endings of the Zelda games because this would just end up being a best endings compilation, or at least I'll try not to do that. Check out number 4. Fittingly, we start with the game that started it all, and this moment hits you as soon as you load up from the title screen. You're thrown into the main world with literally nothing and go, what now? But then you enter this cave and meet a very cordial old man.
I remember when Link was left-handed.
Shut up, Shrek. And he states the iconic line, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this." Take this says, and take this fat L. Skillet. Imagine being a kid in the late 80s. This is the first time ever gamers would be exploring a free and unfiltered world. This moment, and game in general, is so iconic it served as the basis for Breath of the Wild. So deservingly, the moment you get your sword and can explore Hyrule has earned its spot at number 10. Skyward Sword has some of the best dungeons in the series, and Lanayru Mining Facility is no exception. Whether it be going from the present to the past, or making the Stonewall Jackson's faceplant,
Wait, no!
it all builds up to a final boss that's pretty underwhelming.
Show's over, cheapskate!
But after deleting Crabman, this does lead to our number 9 moment on the list. You ride down this minecart in one of the most beautiful areas in the series and then finally encounter Zelda. And thus begins the best cutscene in the game. Suddenly freaking Girahim, the Reddit mod, appears and causes all sorts of chaos. Girahim throws up a boundary between him and Link and slashes ferociously away at Impa with posts from r/politics. Zelda tosses Link the Goddess Harp and the game has a really funny self-aware moment. Suddenly Girahim breaks the boundary and just when it looks like he has the upper hand, Link comes in with the greatest jump slash ever. Because of this, Zelda and Impa manage to escape, and unfortunately, because Girahim's a weenie baby, he does flee the scene because he does have to resume his duties as a modder and send suspicious Discord DMs. This scene is just so awesome because you get to see how epic Zelda is, and there are so many fates intertwining at this moment. You've gotten so close to Zelda and have met all the characters, but now all the major players are in the same arena duking it out, making the payoff so worth it and making it worthy of number 9. Entering the Dark World for the first time in A Link to the Past. Throughout this game, you explore all of Hyrule during your adventure, and most were under the impression that this was all there was to the game. You ascend up Hyrule Castle after obtaining the Master Sword, but are too late to rescue Zelda, as she's been teleported to an unknown place. Hint, hint. We best Aghanim, and in retaliation, he teleports us off the map and into the Dark World. To be fair, we did encounter the Dark World briefly while on Death Mountain, but this moment changed everything. You have a whole new world to explore and have 7 more dungeons to tackle after the first initial 3. This is a big deal. A Link to the Past is running on 16-bit hardware, and then a quarter way through the game, you're thrown into this crazy Dark World like it's nothing. It is the definition of exploratory wonder and solidifies it as a top 3 Zelda game ever. Majora's Mask is a special game and is considered to be the most emotionally haunting game in the series. There are so many moments that grapple with the human soul, whether it be the Deku Butler mourning for his son, the brave Master Swordsman found cowering in fear when death is imminent, or the lover of a woman who met an untimely death. Majora's Mask deals with themes of tragedy and, most importantly, how people cope with tragedy. This piece of art is remarkably human, and there's no moment more human than healing Darmani's sorrows. Once a great warrior with incredible renown, he fell to his death before he could rise to greatness and lives with the regret of not living up to his potential. He was the leader of his tribe and feels that he failed them and ultimately was a disappointment. Link drowns these demons with the Song of Healing and allows Darmani to rest in peace. Out of all the themes in this game, I think this is the most beautiful. The need for some form of validation is present in every human being, and seeing Darmani receive this filled me with great empathy, but sadness, because had Link not intervened, he would have never known how happy he made others, and in the real world, a lot of people never get to see how happy they make others as well. Darmani initially wanted to be resurrected, but after seeing how happy he made his tribe, he could finally rest in peace and earn this moment at number 7 on the list. What in the world has not been said about Breath of the Wild? I'll skip all the formalities. It's great, I think it's the second best Zelda game, etc. And there's one particular moment in this game, no doubt about it, that is a core memory for everybody. You hop off the Great Plateau with wanderlust in your eyes, ready to explore the world. But then, it happens. Whoa, hey, oh my god, what is this? How am I supposed to beat these things? Oh dear god, just go away. Just please go away. I will never forget my first Guardian encounter in the game. These things are so overpowered, and you're practically guaranteed to die fighting them for the first time. Yeah. On the Great Plateau, there's nothing really menacing. Maybe some keys, a few red buckos, but no real threat to democracy. But these bad boys instill the fear of God in you.
I am the one who knocked.
It's pretty funny, because they are on their way to Hyrule Castle, and it's almost like the game is saying, don't even think about it. This illustrates how there is way more out there in Hyrule than you think, and is a core element to how Breath of the Wild gives you a great sense of exploration. I love Link's Awakening. I remember I was really into retro gaming at one point, and I played Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy Advance. Not the SP, but the Game Boy Advance where you had to hold it in sunlight, and it sucked. But it got an emotional reaction out of me, and it's just amazing considering the fact that it was powered by like a toaster. It's quintessential 2D Zelda, coupled with a passionate story with meaningful characters. You can see Yoshiaki Koizumi's fingerprints all over this game. And the moment where the owl tells you to go to the southern face shrine, and you're told that the island of Koholint is just an illusion, is gut-wrenching. You'd already spent so much time with Marin and the others on the island, you're in denial that this was even true.
I've been looking forward to this.
After you read this prophecy, the owl even tells you that it may not be true. Sadly, as we all know, it was, and the island disappears at the end of the game, and the Ballad of the Windfish plays one last time. I love the moment you're told the island's going to disappear if you wake up the Windfish. It establishes an even stronger connection with the other characters. You have to come to terms with your actions in the game, and it makes the story even more rich and meaningful. We're doing a little bit of cheating. And not that kind. Last week, I did a poll asking you guys what you thought the best moment in Tears of the Kingdom was. And it just so happened that moment occurs near the ending of the game, so looks like I violated my own self-imposed philosophy of no endings allowed. Don't worry, this doesn't bother me at all. I miss the old Zelda. There are so many amazing moments in this game, such as Zelda's sacrifice, the ascent to the Wind Temple, and falling towards Zelda at the end of the game. But there's one moment that melted everyone's brains. Ooh, he's an angry elf. Ugh. Okay. Well, first phase wasn't too bad. I think I've got the parrying thing down. I don't think it'll be too... No, wait. What? No! What is that? Oh, no. No! This moment is absolutely absurd. I have never seen anything like this in a video game where it breaks the fourth wall and screen literally to convey just what you're up against, and this was some sort of Metal Gear Solid chaos. You stack this on top of an already great ending, and this is just something that will never be replicated again and hits you hard with that quintessential unknown Zelda element. There's one moment from Twilight Princess that truly embodies how Zelda is a grand, epic adventure, going back to my second core element I brought forward at the beginning of the video. And hey, this is an objective tier list. There is absolutely no bias involved with me putting a moment from Twilight Princess at top 3. Nothing at all to do with the fact that it's my favorite Zelda game, and I think it's the greatest thing to ever be created. In all seriousness, though, when Link is heading back to Kakariko Village after obtaining the Iron Boots and hops over that gate, which immediately transitions to a cutscene, something isn't right. Oh yeah, I noticed something was off because that loading zone is a bit farther away. This is going to lead us to our number 3 moment. Suddenly, King Bulbin attacks the village and snatches Colin up after he saves his siblings. It feels helpless, but then Link pulls up in the freaking coolest way possible and goes after Bulbin. It is on. You chase after Bulbin and fight off his hordes while slashing away at him in order to save Colin in this battle in Hyrule Field. Bulbin decides to settle this like men and 1v1s you on the bridge of Hylia. The music, the atmosphere, everything building up to this is just perfect. You best Bulbin and one of the best shots in Zelda history happens.
That's the thumbnail.
After this, Colin is saved and lets Link know how he is inspired by his courage, and that in order to have this courage, it doesn't require physical strength, but bravery and selflessness. And I love this because Link is not only a Giga Chad that can chop up anyone that gets in his way of his loved ones, but he's really sweet and caring. I promise I'm being objective here, but this is quintessential Zelda, that grand epic adventure, and that strong connection with characters. What's the perfect mixture of atmosphere, wonder, and curiosity? I believe Wind Waker as a game nails all three of these aspects, but what occurs after you beat the Tower of the Gods is next level. You ring this ominous bell atop the Tower of the Gods and open up a pathway in the ocean to a mysterious world. You've been told in legends that Hyrule was washed under a great flood, and you spend a good bit of the game wondering what lies beneath the ocean waves. I used to hold my breath with Link as we descended, and thankfully Link realized he can breathe under this water. The pathway begins to open up and you realize you have entered the Kingdom of Hyrule. The music hits incredibly well, and you immediately want to take control of the sticks to explore. As a little kid, I knew nothing about Zelda lore, and this hit even harder. You enter Hyrule Castle to find a land frozen in time, haunting and just really uneasy. The Hero of Time statue stands in the middle of the room. Everything in this moment is so eerie and amazing. It's quintessential Zelda exploratory wonder, but there is one moment that I believe to be the greatest Zelda moment ever. What is the Zelda moment that captures the emotional attachment to characters, a grand epic adventure, and the thrill of exploration? When I sat down to write the script for this video, I knew one moment was going to top the list for me. A game that came out before I was born and didn't even grow up with, yet I have such a strong emotional attachment with. That game is Ocarina of Time, and that moment is when you pull the Master Sword and become an adult. The whole world turns upside down, and much like life, becoming an adult sees a much harsher world that no one is prepared for. You desperately escape Hyrule Castle and explore the world 7 years later to see if the characters you knew were okay. Everything's changed, the world has opened up to brand new possibilities, and your adventure has only begun. Usually moments like these of exploratory wonder are met with a thrill, but there's an incredibly sad undertone to all of this. Link has lost his childhood and instead must face the onus of adulthood. It reflects life and also happens to capture the essence of Zelda. This is the greatest Zelda moment not only because it captures why people love Zelda, but gaming in general and how it could be a form of art that one day will be accepted as a high-class medium within the arts. Whew. Okay, this video ended up much longer than I thought it would be, but I hope you guys did enjoy the list. I really love talking about Zelda, and I'll be seeing you all later. Take care.